Hi y'all. So I've got a new update to Taka, my WebAssembly or Wasm multimedia application platform that runs either in web or locally as a native application. The new demo is written in two programming languages. The main application written in Odin with support code written in Nim and previously precompiled to Wasm to use as a dependency. So let's take a look at this demo, and it's a number guessing game, and it represents other kinds of applications you might want instead. 50 is too high, let's try 20, too low, 30, 40, 45, 46, 48, 47. Got the answer. We can also look and see what this looks like loading up in the browser. The app itself is about 56K with a total download of less than 315K. The rest of it being the Taka support code. We can also download this Taka application and run it in the local player, which is not Electron. It's not a web browser running here, but it does have a WebAssembly engine, specifically Wasmer, and a whole bunch of support code to provide the same kinds of features that I have in the web implementation. Let's take a look at some code. So here's this Odin application. I set the window title, I print some text out, I initialize the application, and ask to guess a number. I can even control a background color. This is using capabilities exported from the Nim support code. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But one of the key points being here is that Taka provides only core capabilities. I try to make it relatively friendly to use, but I don't have any high-level features. So it's nice if you can have extensions or libraries or whatever that provide high-level features for whatever kinds of Taka apps or games you want to write. So given these helper functions, let's see what we're doing. Down here inside of update, which happens every time there's a frame tick or any other events in Taka, I specifically focus directly on key events. Whenever I see that someone has pressed enter, I process the entry. The rest of the input processing happens in the Nim support code. And then to interact with Nim, I'm using these exported WebAssembly functions, but I have a little bit of helper sitting across the top of them. Because I have each Wasm module, again whether written in Odin or Nim here or anything else you might want to write it in, I have them running each with their own separate memory space, because I feel like a language can't really express itself if it has to cooperate with someone else's memory space. And since I already have buffers for GPU access, I made a new thing called CPU buffers, and I use similar Taka functions in either case for reading and writing buffers. And I can use this for passing, say, string data around between Wasm modules. And whenever the user hits enter, I check to see what their entry says, whether it's too low, too high, got the right answer, or so on. And I don't have a clock or other sources of randomness in Taka, though I plan to provide that. So I just count the number of frames until the first entry as a source of entropy to initialize the random number generator the first time. So let's take a look at what's going on in the Nim support code. Now you could imagine this representing a much fuller user interface library. And here's these functions that I've exported. And we'll see how we glue these together in a minute. But these exported functions are made available approximately automatically in the Odin application. And all this code runs before the Odin code also for the startup. So even though I set a title here in Nim, it's overwritten immediately in Odin. And you may have noticed earlier, hi from Nim comes before hi from Odin. And there's a lot more to do with the quote-unquote app happening here on the Nim side, because it has to do the actual rendering, including tracking the buffers for talking to the GPU. Here's the drawing for rendering each frame, which isn't being done on the Odin side at all. And here's the key and text event handling, including the backspace handling. And again, you could imagine this is a much fuller featured text editing environment here. I've just got a simple proof of concept at the moment. But because of the ability to compose things like this, anybody could make a Taka library or extension that anybody else could use in their Taka app. Nim also has to provide a shader, because this is GPU based, so you ought to have some kind of shader. Odin didn't need it because the Nim support code was doing it for it. And that fun background animation of just the diagonal stuff. This stuff we see here. It's just very simple shader code to have anything interesting happening. And there's our hi from Nim, hi from Odin in that order. And here's building the Nim side of things, where I'm doing what I previously had of LZ4 compressing Taka apps which are otherwise just a single Wasm binary. I might remove this capability in the future just to avoid having redundant capabilities inside of Taka that aren't necessary. And technically this can run independently. So here's the Nim app all on its own, and what it looks like with no entry handling if you run the Nim code directly, rather than running the Odin using the Nim code. And here's the Odin build, which is not only building for Odin, but is also configuring the output space for building a zip file. Because I decided to go the Java jar route for Taka because it seemed to make the most sense for using well-known third-party applications. One thing zip gives you over, say, tar gz or whatever, is that you have independently addressable entries inside of a zip file, instead of like a tar compressed file that you have to decompress it to get access to the tar entries. So let's try building this. And we see the Nim go first, and then secondarily we have the Odin build, where it's using the raw Wasm file from the Nim, and it builds this specific structure inside of that zip file. I'm using convention over configuration. The main app always goes at app.wasm, and extensions go under x/, and they're loaded in Unicode lexicographic order, which means if you want to enforce a particular order for which one has most dibs last on putting in a particular export, you need to just rename it, maybe numerically, for example. In the future, I'd like to have nested things so that textbox could have its own dependencies, and some kind of symlink convention so that you don't have to put the same thing in twice in your application. But for now, it's just simple Wasm files. We noticed that build wasn't super fast. Sometimes it built in under 3 seconds. For Odin, I noticed it was building faster and smaller than Nim until I started adding things like the imports to formatting packages. And I'm doing formatting in Nim also, and maybe I could be doing better things in either language. This is just the experience I had while building this particular application demo. And then meanwhile, to look a little bit at how this is being done from the TypeScript web implementation of Taka or the Rust implementation for native of Taka, I was a little bit worried going into this that getting exports from one Wasm module into another might be complicated. But when you instantiate a Wasm module, you provide an environment. In this case, I'm making sure the environment also includes the bonus exports from the previously loaded extension modules. And so I load up all of those extensions first, then I grab all other exports that aren't being reserved at the moment, and make sure those are then used when loading the application module. And whatever I export directly as a function from one module can be imported as a function in another. Very straightforward here in the JavaScript Wasm API. And then I initialize them all in order with the main application last. And here's this example about how each of them has their own memory. From the Rust side, I do approximately the same logic. This is for the native player. I have bonus exports that come out, then I grab the ones that aren't reserved, and I include them when loading up the application. As a side note, by the way, whether on the Rust side, where I'm using the glyphon text renderer, or the JavaScript side, where I'm rendering that text to a canvas and then to a WebGL texture, even though I hope some efficient things are going on in the background, it's actually not very CPU efficient to render text. And I'm not sure in the end if I want to rely on Taka implementations to do a tremendously good job of this. That UI library that the Nim code represents right now could potentially do a more aggressive form of caching of user interface elements when they aren't changing. But meanwhile, just to prove we can actually change our application and run the new updated one, let's adjust this background color. Oh, for kicks, let's ramp up the red quite a bit. And we're building, and we're done. We run it now. Oh, that's the old pure Nim version. Let's run the Odin version. There we are. We've added some red into that blue. Just showing how we can take advantage of APIs exposed by separately compiled Wasm modules, which allow an ecosystem of things to be built up for Taka applications and games. And just for kicks, let's gzip this Taka thing to get a feel for how big it is on Linux. We see here about 5 megabytes gzipped for the Taka native player. It's likely to get bigger in the future, but Really, for an entire native application player, this doesn't feel too bad to me. And again, it's under 300K for the web player. And I'm hoping in the near future also to fix some bugs I found on Mac, and maybe even provide downloadable binaries from the GitHub page. So, still making progress on Taka. Maybe we can have a game jam for it in about 6 months after I get through a little more polish and feature set. Meanwhile, I hope it's been fun. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe. Bye, y'all.